There's this idea out there that people are just naturally consistent. Like they've got some gene for discipline that you just don't have. And you're just stuck spinning your wheels, struggling to stay motivated, and just so tired that you could never see yourself being as consistent as they are. And I hear some version of this from every new client. They tell me, Dylan, I just need to be more consistent. But the issue is that's where things usually stop. Those same people who are just naturally consistent take it that one step further. What do your days look like specifically? When are you working out? When are you eating? What are you eating? Most people just simply can't answer that. So that leaves you with a goal, but no idea how you're gonna actually fit it into your life. And that's the difference. I don't have more discipline than you. I've just taken my plan towards my goal that extra step further. And so that is what I will show you in today's video. My 5-step process, starting with my morning routine, to my training, my nutrition, sleep and recovery, as well as my check-in with myself. And this is what's made staying consistent on my fitness goals actually manageable despite working 50 hours a week. This system has come from 8 years of being my own lab rat and making countless mistakes so I can learn from them. And now I've taken those experiences to help my clients overcome the same struggles. And this whole thing starts the second I wake up with the morning routine. I make sure my morning starts by focusing on me and saving myself from jumping right into the chaos and being anxious all day. Rain or shine, I'm outside before anything else, getting sunlight in my eyes. This is either with a walk or literally just sat out on my front step with a glass of water if I'm short on time. And from there, I'll pack my lunch so everything is ready to go for the day. This gives me enough time to wake up without needing caffeine and helps me carry a calm mental state throughout the rest of the day. Which brings us to section 2, which is the training, and quite possibly the most important part of the routine as it sets everything else up for success. On weeks where my training is dialed in, everything else flows naturally. But when I miss workouts, things fall apart. My workouts are my anchor to the week. They're my time to decompress, and they're also, of course, the most important part of helping me build muscle. Currently, I lift 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and those are 2 full body days with a push session in the middle. This allows me to hit every muscle at least twice a week with some extra volume to my chest, shoulders, and triceps. And then I fit running in on Wednesday and Saturday as well. And that's a relatively new addition to my routine since about the spring, but it's been tremendously fun. It keeps my daily calorie burn up so I can keep fueling my workouts, and it can actually improve my recovery in between my sessions. But most importantly, I've blocked out time for each single one of these sessions. I know exactly what day, what time, and what type of session I'm doing on every single day of the week. And that's been decided at least a week beforehand. Because as someone who's working 50 hours a week, there's no way I'd be able to find time for those things if I didn't take this step. Next is section 3, which is my nutrition. And this one is usually the toughest for most people. I've seen plenty, including myself, be able to work out consistently multiple times a week. But if you don't treat your diet with the same level of planning, it'll always be, oh, well, I just don't have time to cook, so I'm gonna grab takeout because it's quick. And that's how you don't get any results. My diet is stupid simple and it doesn't change. And I can't explain to you just how much stress that saves me. The thought leading up to each meal is this: I have 2 to 3 options for breakfast, 2 to 3 options for lunch, and 2 to 3 for supper. So when I get to those meals, I pick just one of the 3. That way there's no guesswork and it's not boring in the slightest because there are meals that I actually enjoy and I'm confident reach my calorie target. So I always have meals I like on repeat, and no matter which one I choose, I'm on track. And to take that even a step further, every single Sunday I block out at least 1 hour to choose what meals from the list I want to have from the upcoming week and prep the necessary ingredients. That way, once the week gets going, all I gotta do is take the meals out of the fridge and plate them for like 2 minutes. Not having time to cook is no longer a possibility. Breakfast and lunch are always 2 of a wrap with ground beef, bell peppers, leafy green, and cheese. A simple meal prep container with a protein, carb, and veggie of my choice. And this could be the simple chicken, rice, and broccoli, or it could be salmon, potato, and carrot. Really, any combination works. Or a overnight oat jar with a random assortment of fruits on top. The oats are almost always one of the 2 as well because they're the simplest to make. So it's usually oats plus whatever one of the other 2 I'm feeling that week. Suppers and weekends are usually a little bit more flexible as there's sometimes meals with my girlfriend or I just have a little bit more time on my hands to prep. But still, 99 times out of 100, I'm still picking from a different, slightly bigger list of eggs, protein smoothies, protein pancakes, chicken nuggets, or a yogurt bowl. Seeking out variety all the time in your meals is a huge mistake because you always have to make the decision of what meal you're gonna have, often after you're super burnt out after work. And multiply that by 7 days a week and it's no wonder why you can't stay consistent. If I ever did want some variety outside of my usual, I can have 1 or 2 meals that are different. And if one of those becomes something that I really like, then I can just add it into the rotation and the Sunday process repeats. But the key there is that doesn't have to happen as much as we think it does. And saving ourselves the headache of trying to figure out what to have is the much better option. And besides, I think eating the same meals every day is a lot less boring than seeing the same thing in the mirror every day. So if you'd like a dedicated guide showing you exactly how to lay this out for yourself, complete with meal and snack ideas for inspiration, I put that together in my core meal guide. The link to download it will be in the description below. And that brings us to section 4, which is sleep and recovery. Without this section, everything can easily fall apart. Poor sleep kills your focus, it'll make it much more likely that you'll make bad decisions, and it can even slow down your progress massively, even if your training and diet is completely on point. And if I'm honest, this part is still a little bit of a work in progress for me at times. I often tend to be up later than I'd like, and sometimes that's just spending quality time with my girlfriend and family, especially when I got home late from work, but some of it is just doing some extra busy work or scrolling my phone when I don't need to. However, what I do keep consistent is my target. In bed at 10:30 at the absolute latest, and up around 6 for work. Your consistency in your sleep timing matters much more than your total time in bed itself. So for me, keeping to those targets keeps me afloat during the busy time. Outside of that, I make sure to control the light coming into my eyes with both the sunlight in the morning and by putting my blue light glasses on at least an hour before bed so I can actually get tired on time. And truthfully, if you can nail your sleep, that's the majority of your recovery taken care of right there. I don't have really any other elaborate recovery routine like cold plunge, sauna, stretches, or anything else that you'll likely see online. If anything, I found they just became one more thing on my to-do list that I had to worry about. And when I try to bring them into my routine, that just makes me feel more overwhelmed, which is the opposite of what we want. Instead, I've switched gears a little bit and actually taken time to focus on doing nothing on purpose. Sometimes that's spending time outside, or it could even just be rotting on the couch. This will do much more for your recovery than most everything else. The key, however, is not being distracted during this time and actually letting my brain sit still. No scrolling my phone or zoning out to a movie, but actually letting my brain sit there and recover. And finally, section 5, in the section that ties everything together, is tracking my progress and my weekly check-in with myself. Because if you're not tracking something, you have no idea if it's working. You're completely guessing. So during the week, I track my food, my workouts, my runs, and a bunch of other metrics in my business as well. And then with that, every weekend, I sit down for at least an hour and reflect. I ask myself what went well that week and what I need to adjust. I reset my to-do list and I jot down anything out of the ordinary that comes up that I need to fit into my calendar. On this calendar, my meals, my workouts, and my main work tasks already have time blocked out. So I go into my week knowing exactly when things are getting done. There is no feeling of not having the time to do everything because I know exactly where my time is going and what is in each block. I also sit down with my coach Jake once a week on Tuesdays to go one step deeper into my fitness and business and make any midweek adjustments that we need to. And this is exactly why for all of my clients, I focus on exactly the same thing too. Everybody has a check-in with me each week outside of the gym, so A, they get used to the act of self-reflecting for the reasons I just described, and B, it allows us to sit down together and adjust things when needed and maybe catch a problem before it becomes something that consistently gives you trouble. And so if you would like my help teaching you how to put this exact system into your life, the application for my one-to-one coaching is in the description below. And with that, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.